So I've been thinking a lot about, in Derrick Jensen's book Endgame, he introduces the concept of toxic mimics. Toxic mimics are things that have emerged in our society and that exploit our very simple and basic needs for connection, support, community. They also exploit our fears. And like some of the more obvious toxic mimics are pornography is a toxic mimic for intimacy, or war is a toxic mimic of play, or gathering around the glow of a computer screen in a virtual community is a toxic mimic for gathering face to face around the glow of a fire. But all of these toxic mimics have in common is that they're commodified. Money exchanges hands. Someone profits from our need, even though it's a very basic need that is our birthright. And also, these toxic mimics, by their nature, are addictive because we keep going back and back to them, trying to get our needs met. But of course, they don't meet our needs. It's like trying to get blood from a turnip. I mean, we pay people to touch us. We pay people to listen to us. We even pay people to bury us. Anyway, I was in the grocery store the other day, God help me, and there were these two little guys, cute as could be, about 2 and 3 years old, and they were at the vending machines, and they were getting these little candies in the shapes of fruits, and out of this machine that's right at their eye level. And you know, talk about toxic, and these things are, I'm assuming, made out of high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavor, artificial color, and a few other things that we don't want to think about. You know, their faces lit up as children's faces do, and it occurred to me that these little toxic candies were toxic mimics of berries, and that the vending machine was a toxic mimic of the berry bush. It was right there at face level, and that their glee was the same glee that I've seen on the faces of other little fellows who find berries in the woods and get excited about it. And berry picking is a historically common activity. To be argued that it's in our DNA, and then that very urge is being exploited by this rather gruesome product. So I don't know about you, but you know, after reading about toxic mimics, I started seeing them everywhere in my own life and in other people's lives, and you know, bring on the despair. What else is new? And but then it occurred to me that we can use these toxic mimics to define our real needs, because they're like a little clue. And once we become aware of them, we can move away from them, or refuse to get sucked into them, and make the rather bold and courageous move of walking into the unknown territory of getting our real needs met, even though getting them met in a society that is set up to keep us, that's the very survival of our society is dependent upon us not getting those needs met. So I'm curious if others see toxic mimics in their lives, or do you see something else? And is it possible for us to identify these toxic mimics? Is it possible for us to turn away from them? Is it possible for us to transform our lives and move in a direction that's saner, even though we might not know what that direction looks like, even though that direction is clearly not supported by our current society? Can we do this?